Hey guys, this is insight number 5 and we're in 1 Nephi chapter 15. So there's a lot of goodness in here. I'm going to focus on one little point and just sort of look at that because it's a good one. And I think we miss this a lot too with our expectations. So in verse 8, Nephi, having had this vision, knowing all of this, he wants to share it and check in with his brethren because of what he saw. He's like, maybe I can turn the tide on this. It's still happening in the future. Maybe I can make it better if I can just, maybe youthful exuberance, maybe led by the Spirit as well. But he wanted to talk to his brethren about it. So it says, in verse 1, it came to pass that after I, Nephi, had been carried away in the Spirit and seen all these things, I returned to the tent of my father. He beheld his brethren, and they were disputing again in verse 2. And 3, he spake unto them great things that he knew. And in 4, I was grieved because of the hardness of their hearts, and also because of the things which I had seen, and knew that they must unavoidably come to pass because of the great wickedness of the children of men. He's got to be feeling pretty kind of disparaged and defeated, but not completely. Again, seeing so much good, he knew this was going to be worth it, but still, it's like the downheartening feeling of it all. And it came to pass, as verse 5, I was overcome because of mine afflictions, that I considered that mine afflictions were great above all because of the destruction of all my people. So this is a depressing time. This is moments where he could have used some good news, right? And it came to pass that after I had received strength, I spake unto my brethren. So he had a moment of just like, right? We know what that feels like. We've had moments of that where things happen, or it's just like we see something really bad and we just like, And he's like, okay, I've gained my strength. Now I'm going to talk to them. And he said to them, he wants to talk to them because of their disputations. And they said, in verse 7, Behold, we cannot understand the words which our father hath spoken concerning the natural branches of the olive tree, and also concerning the Gentiles. Right, so go back to last week's study where Lehi came and talked to his sons about the vision that he had and what it meant. Now, so they're still talking about this. Nephi's gone away and desired an answer, got an answer, seen a lot of awesome stuff. And they're still sitting there just talking about it. And so he's like, okay. And he said unto them in verse 8, Have ye inquired of the Lord? Did you ask the Lord? Now this shows their expectation. A little bit of arrogance. So it's just a teeny little bit of arrogance, which is often the stumbling block, right? Verse 9, And they said unto me, talking to Nephi, We have not, for the Lord maketh no such thing known unto us. We have not inquired of the Lord, because he didn't tell us to. Really? So, Nephi says in 10, Behold, I said unto them, How is it that ye do not keep the commandments of the Lord? How is it that ye will perish because of the hardness of your hearts? Do you not remember the things which the Lord hath said? If ye will not harden your hearts and ask me in faith, believing that ye shall receive with diligence and keeping my commandments, surely these things will be made known unto you. But they didn't, because maybe they're wanting to be spoon-fed everything, waiting for that. I'll inquire of the Lord if he says to me, inquire of the Lord. Well, he had. Oh, but he didn't say it this time. It's like, no, he said it for all times. Like, do it every day, multiple times a day. And then they're like, well, yeah, we could ask, Seriously? Anyway, so no one offered, so we did nothing. Basically, that was it. We weren't offered an answer, so we didn't do anything about it. We just stayed here and argued about what it might mean. We caused contention amongst ourselves, trying to prove that each of us were right. So do not perish because of expectations. Do not perish because you don't want to ask the Lord, that you want to be right, that you have to prove that you're right. Don't perish because of that. It's not worth it. We choose to be chosen, remember? Like, if we want to be chosen, they're like, oh, Nephi, you're chosen. It's easy for you. You got that. No, he worked really hard for that. And he continued to work hard. It's not something that he desired. He didn't say, I didn't grow up I'm going to be the boss of everyone. I'm like that. No, he's like, okay, you want me to do it. All right. And that the Lord does that with all the leaders we have. Not one of them was out there going, I'll be it, I'm the strongest, I'm the smartest. No, that's not the people the Lord calls. The Lord calls people who are humble, who are teachable and who know him. So Nephi worked hard to know him, and that's why he got answers. So choose to be chosen. No one is forgotten. You look at verse 18, remember the promises to covenant Israel. That's what he's saying to them. Remember these things. Do you not remember these things? 18, wherefore our father hath not spoken of our seed alone, but also of all the house of Israel. Because he's now explaining it to them because he's seen what it is. He's going to share this information. And they're not going to take it well. Well, Sam does, but not Laman and Lemuel. Pointing to the covenant which should be fulfilled in the latter days, which covenant the Lord made to our father Abraham, saying, in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. Gathering of Israel and the promises to covenant Israel. We've got to remember these even in our day. We choose to be chosen. No one is forgotten. That's what all the olive tree branches were talking about. Because if somebody came up to you and started talking about grafting olive trees, I've got olive trees out there, that's why I'm looking. And I'm looking at those going, what? All I know is that they drop their leaves and sometimes I stand on the fruit and it hurts. That's pretty much the extent of what I know about actual physical olive trees. Oh, the wood's beautiful. But yeah, that's about it. I know more about spiritual olive trees talking about in the scriptures, but not about actual olive trees. So if somebody actually kind of started talking about all that, I might fall asleep. But if I could remember why and then have someone explain why they were talking about that, like I often do in a general conference or a state conference or even at a ward level, then I'm interested. So it's not just talking blindly, there's a point. So Nephi chose to be chosen. He did that. He chose relationship with Christ. That's why he's chosen. And that's why any of us are chosen. I'll finish this off with a quote from Elder Neil A. Maxwell that he gave in conference a talk called Lessons from Laman and Lemuel. This is in October 1999, so a while ago. Nonetheless, a very good insight for behavior and how we're choosing to be. The actions that bring Christ into our lives and the things of that church rather than the myths and the ugliness of the church of Satan. So, he taught, Laman and Lemuel became rebels instead of leaders, resentful instead of righteous, all because of their failure to understand either the character or the purposes of God. True, we could know more facts about them, but it would not change the bottom line. If in some respects they seem to be underdeveloped characters, it is because theirs was a haunted emptiness, which could have been filled by the love of God. In vision, Lehi saw them, but they would not partake of the fruit. Of all self-inflicted punishments, this 8-word epitaph describes the most awful and consequential. And it's a good talk if you want to go read that one. Again, Laman and Lemuel, Lessons from Laman and Lemuel, October 1999, Neil A. Maxwell. And it says it all there, really, in those 4 words, like he said, that self-inflicted punishment. But they would not partake of the fruit. Here's all these things offered to you. Here's the blessings, the knowledge, the experience, the support, the love, the peace, everything that you are looking for, the things you want answers to, the things you desire, and here it is. And all you need to do is get to the tree, partake of the fruit, and they would not. They chose not to do that. And how many people do we know, or have we done that ourselves, where you are offered all these things? It's like back when they were offered healing, the Israelites wandering the desert. Here's healing, just look at the serpent. Look at the brass serpent. And they wouldn't. It's that stubbornness, that little bit of arrogance that is such a destructive downfall for us. It's a self-inflicted punishment. Here's the gospel. It can do all these things for you. Here's Jesus Christ. He already loves you. He already thinks you're awesome. And you're going to say no? But you're looking for a good relationship. Don't you want that one? No, I don't. That's what people say. And it's like, it is heartbreaking. So keep that in mind. I again will say Laman and Lemuel weren't evil. They just failed to understand the purpose of God. They failed to understand, to have that relationship with them. They had a belief. It was not strong enough. And they couldn't believe in those things. And that's why they turned them away and chose other things. So don't be that. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. Again, I'm never going to live up to being Nephi, but I can live in that manner. So there you go. Anyway, have a great week. Talk to you here off enough. And I will see you next week for more of First Nephi. Bye, guys.